Come on, work. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Everything Star Wars. Well, Entertainment and Star Wars. I now changed the name. I got to change that in the bottom. I'm here with a lot of great YouTubers. You might not know, you might know. First off, I got Lord Callous. I got the Mexican Iron Man, Echo Base Network, and Fanzene Vids.
And this is your host, Maya.
Thank you. Hope everybody is well out there. So let's start with Lord Callous. Why don't you tell us about your channel?
Oh, absolutely. Hello, I am Lord Callous, the voice of the Dark Council. And I do Star Wars primarily, but news, reviews, theories, clues. I do comic books reviews, and I dive into the lore, whether it be EU or current canon. So Star Wars is sort of where I live. Oh, and gaming. And I try to keep the gaming to Star Wars. I learned my lesson. So when I first started the channel, I had different games on there, but now I've restricted my gaming on Lord Callous TV to Star Wars gaming, and then I started another gaming channel that I can put all my other fun games on as well. So everything, like your name, everything Star Wars, that's what I'm about. Everything Star Wars. And then I do a show on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock over on Drunk 3PO's channel. That's my brother Drunk, my brother Abu Nas, my brother Damajani, my brother Fatal J, my brother The Gospel According to Mark with a C. And yeah, we have the Dark Council. That's a lot of fun every Tuesday over at Drunk 3PO's channel from 8 to about 11 o'clock we run. Long show. Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, I frequently am there on Tuesday, man. It's quite a favor. You guys, Ninja Van. I'm there.
Ninja Vanish.
Checking you guys.
That's fatal.
Before, I just want to give thanks. He's been on here. His Rhodes Rant. He just gave me a $2 super chat. Just want to thank Rhodes for that's very nice, man. Rhodes is a good guy. If you haven't checked out his channel. Ben V's here, Jedi Purge is here, Zach is here, so I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Let's continue with the next channel, the Mexican Iron Man. Why don't you tell the good people here what your channel's all about?
Well, I'm actually affiliated with Echo Base Network with Coach and Nick. That's my might say my main home. Right now, I'm doing a writing contest where we are giving away over $2,000 in cash prizes for anyone who wants to submit and do short stories like for Star Wars or Star Trek. But what we're doing is we're cutting out before JJ gets involved and cutting out before movie 7, 8, 9. I'll put the link to the video and the contest rules, and I encourage everybody to apply. It's for rookies and amateurs, and the whole idea is like while we're sitting at home and we're stuck at home in these freaking quarantines, let's do something positive and show these screenwriters how creativity really can go, and some endings that make sense, not this other horse crap that they've been coming up with. So I'll put a link in the chat, but the contest is sponsored by Echo Base Network, and yeah, we got cash prizes, over $2,000 in cash prizes that we're going to be giving away.
Nice.
That's very nice. Below we have Nick and the coach. Speaking of Echo Base Network, so why don't you guys tell them all about Echo Base Network?
I don't even know if Nick is here with us yet. So I'm Coach. I am half of Echo Base Network, or not really half, but I guess I'm half of the founders for Echo Base Network. We started the channel a little bit over a year ago. Nick and I have been best friends since we were about 12 years old, I think. So it's been 29, 30 years. We've been really good friends. And ironically, the two of us did not like each other. We did not like each other at all until the day I walked by his desk and he was reading a Star Wars short story. And I was like, "You like Star Wars?" And he was like, "Yeah, I love Star Wars." We have literally been best friends since that moment. So Nick and I both, we grew up loving the toys, reading the books, collecting the comics. We watched the movies over and over and over again. And one day we decided that we wanted to start a YouTube channel together. So it is truly, Echo Base Network is truly a channel that there is a group of us, and you may get a video that's just me. Our best work is always when we do things together. Nick and I have met Mexican Iron Man above here, and we brought him in. He's been a very great guiding light for us. We do a lot of Star Wars, but Star Wars is not the only thing that we do. You just never know what you're going to find at our channel. Nick will jump into the very debatable, very hot topic things that are going on in the world, controversial things like lately the Robert Meyer Burnett scene and what's happening there. Nick likes to jump into those things. I play it more safe. I'm more of the toy guy and making little videos about why we love Star Wars. We have a live stream every Saturday night, and the show is actually called Why We Love Star Wars. And it's dedicated to fans of Star Wars in any capacity. You don't have to be an original trilogy fan or a prequel trilogy fan. Sequel trilogy fans are even welcome at that show. That was kind of a joke, but they really are. They really are. If somebody prefers the sequel trilogy, they are more than welcome to come by, express why you love the show. We make little short 10-minute documentaries about our subscribers where they get to tell their stories. What is it about Star Wars that you love? Tell us your story. And man, we've had some great ones. And Nick and I also, we make documentary featurettes. We just made our first one. It released back in August last year, I believe. It was Star Wars, a sequel trilogy documentary. And it's got over 150,000 views at this point. It was 91 minutes long. Overlord DVD, Doomcock narrated that. Yeah, and we are currently in production making one about LucasArts, the rise and fall of an empire. And Mauler will be narrating that one. And this is not something that I do or Nick does. It's really the three of us. And we've just got a great community over at Echo Base Network. And I'm sorry, that's just, I don't know. You wanted to know, and that's what, when I think of our channel, that's the things that I think of.
Before I get to my next cousin, it's great, man. I'm glad you got that all out. Ben V, guy who's been on my channel forever, asked, Network, how can we tell our Star Wars story on your channel?
All right. Well, I definitely would ask you to go visit our website. It's echobasenetwork.com. And we actually have a page on there that's called Why We Love Star Wars. I'm pulling it up right here just so I can make sure that there's Why We Love Star Wars. And on that page, there are 12 different links, and you can see the thumbnails. They all have titles, and they're all roughly 10 to 20 minutes long. So what happens is this. If you are someone that would be interested in sharing your Star Wars story, it starts with you. And we do it however you want to do it. We've had people that we talk like this, where I'll ask them questions and they share things. Or if you've got something that you want to share, if you already know your story and you don't need my help, then you type it up. And I love video production. I'm basically the creator, and Nick is the social. He knows everybody. He's a great people person, and I am not. Nick, everybody knows Nick.
He's the cruise director of the Love Boat.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So Nick stays up to date on YouTube and what's going on and makes all these connections. Like I saw Fatal J here. Nick loves Fatal J and visits his channel often and watches all of his videos and things like that. Coach is I'm an educator, and I'm getting sidetracked, but I'm going to come right back. Watch this. I'm an educator. I'm a basketball coach. I'm a professional disc golfer. I have an online toy store. I have an online Frisbee golf store where I sell disc golf gear. I stay really busy, so Nick has to keep up to speed on what's happening via YouTube, and Mexican Iron Man does as well. But I love video production, and that's a great hobby of mine. So when you type up your story, to bring it back home, when you type up your story, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to reach out to back and forth and make sure we've got it all right. And we always give our people the choice. Do you want to narrate it or do you want me to narrate it? If you want this Southern Alabama accent with your story, you're welcome to have it, but you're more than welcome to do it yourself. And what's going to happen is we're going to make your video and I'm going to let you see it and make sure that you approve before we release it. So definitely go out there and check that out. We've made some really, really good ones.
Nice.
Can you do it in Spanish? No, I'm kidding.
Now, nobody's going to ask me any more questions because I give 3-minute answers.
Before we get to my next channel, I just want to say that thanks to Fatal J. I don't know if he's still here, but he sent me another $5 donation. Very nice. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. And he said, "Who said Ninja Vanish?" He's a pretty awesome guy. Now let me get to the next channel. I can't believe we're sitting here almost 11 minutes in. Here's my buddy Fanzene Vids. Go ahead and tell them all about your channel, my friend.
My channel, basically, I'm just a movie nerd, superhero nerd. I make, videos about movies and reviews. Occasionally, I'll do skits and I'll do dating videos just to have fun. I'll give out movie news. That's, I'm just a big movie loving guy. I love the 80s classic, cheesy B movies. So I like to do a lot about that. And that's basically who I am. Just me. Short, simple, sweet.
Rock on.
So there you go. You guys feel free to drop your channels in anytime you want into the chat so people can check you guys out. So I was saying this right before we went on, and thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I find it amazing that, we come here for an escape. If we get away from everything that goes on in life, this is whatever time, because everything happens. You got bills, you got work, you got this, you got that going on in your life. You have everything crazy outside. And I find it amazing that it's like, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have met all of you. And what is the first thing that the coach says? Well, I met him and we started talking Star Wars and boom. And see, that's what's amazing. To me, it's such an amazing thing. I mean, I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on it, but I thought that was perfect just because that's the first thing I wanted to say is why we do this. And so let me we'll start with Lord Callous. What is the reason? What got you into this? What's your YouTube, your Star Wars? What got you into all this, Lord Callous?
Well, those are actually two completely different things. So for me, as far as Star Wars is concerned, that was just something that is, it's just homegrown. It's something that my parents love and enjoyed. I grew up as not myself, for whatever reason, Star Wars was the one that resonated with me. But with my parents, it was both Star Wars and Star Trek. So my household is Star Wars and Star Trek. And for me, I'm actually the only one who just went the Star Wars route. Like I do still enjoy Star Trek, but my entire household is Star Wars, Star Trek. And so it's just something that I have two children. You see my baby girl back here, and then I have an 18-year-old. It's just something that I've also been able to pass down to them. And my wife, she'd had no interest in Star Wars, but it's something that we do as a family, that she enjoyed. Every movie that we went to or that came out, we went to together, and she enjoyed seeing them. So from year to year, granted, she's not going to sit and just watch Star Wars, like I will just watch Star Wars, but it was something that we enjoyed doing as a family when every new movie came out, and she would look forward to it. She was looking forward to the story, Anakin's story with Padme, and so that foundation from when I was a kid all the way through, and now I've been able to pass that to my babies. It's just what I love about Star Wars. It's just family, man. It's a connective tissue. And that, like you said earlier, it doesn't matter your race, color, creed, religion. It doesn't matter. It just connects us all. As far as my YouTube channel, though, that was something that I did secondly, because while I do have my 9 to 5, and that pays my bills. I'm also an author, so I like to write. So I began my YouTube channel as a means to bolster that, for that sort of exposure. It was never something that I had intended to do full time, or to make blow up. It was something that I wanted to do to establish an online presence, because if anybody is into any of the other arts, you know that you need a social media presence, right? And so that's the reason why I got into. I have my own webpage. I have obviously Twitter, right? And then I went to YouTube, because I'm not a big IG. Like, I'm not vain where I like to post all kinds of pictures of myself and so IG just wouldn't work for me like that. It doesn't. And I know it's something that people have to do. But YouTube was something that I could get on here and I could express my love for Star Wars, and that ties into my writing, because I'm a sci-fi fantasy writer. That's what I like to do. So YouTube was solely for the purpose to bolster the or sort of go hand in hand with my author, and that's me.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
So, Mexican Iron Man, would Lord Callous be disqualified
that's
from
really
the
cool.
writing
That's
contest?
cool,
Why would he be disqualified?
Because he's a professional writer.
Well, not
Clearly has
professional.
an advantage.
I have
Yeah.
it sold. I have it sold, but it's something that
No, he's not. No. In order to be disqualified, you'd have to have been published and bought with a contract over $1,000 in sci-fi.
There you go.
Hey, Lord
So,
Callous,
bro, why don't you enter the contest?
let me do this. $500 first place prize.
Cash money.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, the prizes are legit. I think third place is $250. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you need to get one of those short stories in.
Seriously.
What's the link?
So here's the way it is. It's like, so basically, pick Star Wars or Star Trek. Hell, pick both. I don't know, but what you're basically doing is you have to write a story that the rules are pretty simple. Don't copy anybody, but ignore anything that JJ did from 2009 Star Trek on, and ignore movies 7, 8, 9, and Star Wars like they never happened.
I put a
And
link.
everything that came after that.
I
So
put a link
basically,
in
all
the
you got to
private
do is,
chat.
it's like going back in time and before the nightmare of Kathleen Kennedy and before the nightmare of Shaky Cam and JJ.
Is there a word limit?
Yeah, it's on the screen.
Yeah, all the information you're going to need in the description on that link.
I put the. Can you put the link in there?
Yeah, Rob, can you post that link? It's in private chat, if you don't mind.
It's only like 8,000 words. It's a short story.
Sure,
So,
hold on, let me get it.
It's a short story.
I have two novels under my belt.
And this is something that we're going to do annually.
And so the idea is that obviously you retain the rights. It's your story. All we're trying to do is and this so many things going on negative. We just want to do something positive. Get our creativity out there and compensate. Basically compensate people in the menace, and what I'm hoping is that we get 6 good stories, first, second, third in both genres, Star Trek and Star Wars, and even if 1 or 2 of them blows out the bullshit that these paid idiots have put out, that really shows that what our creativity can be. And it's most of the judging, 80-90% of it is about the story, the plot, the characters. I think only 10% is about the technicals of it, because it's a short story. It's we don't want anybody to get hung up on the technicals. Brother, I hope you really submit. You should really submit. It really would be, and we got cash money. Don't leave any cash on the table.
Yeah, I would like to read one of your stories.
Thank you.
The judging's anonymous,
You read?
so no one will know. The judging's anonymous. They're only going to get the short stories and numbers of what the author number is. So, but once we announce it, we're going to put it all over the place, and we'll see how much publicity we get for it.
Hey, Nick, you missed the part where we were asked to kind of like say what our channel is all about. So you missed all that. So I don't know if I got it right or wrong. I did the very best that I could, but you're taking the next question.
Okay. Yeah, my sister and her kids just got here, and they weren't going to come tonight. They were going to come tomorrow morning, but they ended up coming tonight. So I've been, that's why I had to step away for just a quick minute. But yeah, that's fine.
So I guess Iron Man, Nick. Guys, what made you start a YouTube channel, and what guys into Star Wars? The floor is yours.
Well, I don't know if I really. I mean, I have a channel by default, and I guess I've been dragged kicking and screaming into being creative. I haven't really launched my channel per se as much as I've sort of either for Doomcock or Echo Base Network done a lot of cartoons and some funny stuff. You know, so it's all on the Echo Base Network. You know, if you see it, I think what brought me out, what brought me online was that well, let's see. What I remember walking out of gosh, which movie was it? I remember walking out of the movie theater and feeling weird, and then certainly a year or 2 years later, when The Last Jedi came out, you know, I just felt like something inside me was dying. You know, when I saw those first two movies, and by the second one, I really didn't know what to do or go because you know I wasn't going to conventions anymore. So I just went online randomly and said, "Gee, I wonder if there's anyone online anywhere talking about this stuff." Holy shit! That night I landed up in the High Council, and the next night was Jeremy and more f-bombs about Star Wars, and holy hellfire! You know, just, I landed. You know, I found Geeks and Gamers, and I found the High Council, and started listening to the. Oh, and then I found Drunk 3PO, who I've been a patron to for like about a year and a half now, and started watching the High Council. That's all of a sudden I felt like, golly, there's other people out there that are sad or mad or unhappy with what's happening, and still yearning for it. You know, it got to a point where like I started putting, you know, I've had my action figures around me forever at my office, at work, at home, at my office. I started putting that shit away after I saw the first two movies. You know, it didn't bring me joy. I'd look at them like, you know, there was no joy or excitement anymore. I look at my Falcon and my little Han Solo guy, and I'm like, bro, I remember that night I came home from the movie theater. I looked at him like, bro, they killed you today. I was, you know, it's weird, you know, be a grown man, but then be like taken back to like you're like 6 again, almost like as if it were yesterday. And I was just really upset. So I just started randomly going online and finding videos and slowly but surely making friends. And then, you know, I'd say over the last 6 months, I've started doing creative stuff on the internet. Maybe I'll launch the channel formally, but right now I'm happy being a part of Echo Base Network and doing everything there. But yeah, I mean, so thank you to you guys, and you know, for you know, helping me make friends that I otherwise would never get to meet, and we all see things the same, and it's great.
Well, let me chime in here on what he just said about himself. He's not creating content on his YouTube channel, but inside the Fandom Menace, I would say that he is one of the most liked and well-known people. He's always like everybody knows who he is. You want to talk about Doomcock, Gary from Nerdrotic, Jeremy from Geeks and Game. Everybody knows Mexican Iron Man, and they all love him. And he reached out to us and did a collab video with us, and he had such a big positive impact. Now he's not always positive; he can be the angry Mexican Iron Man too, occasionally. But he had such an amazing positive impact on what we were doing, and Nick and I just got really excited about him helping us on a particular video that we did, and it was a relationship that just kept on. We started like, hey, because he could offer us a perspective that we, as Nick and I were making the videos, he was a voice and saw things a little differently than us, and he offered us a little bit of guidance that has gone a long way, and over time that has become a very good friendship, and we just love him dearly.
Mm-hmm. And we all three of us fight like brothers.
Oh yeah, I would totally bust him in the face occasionally, like. So, the love is real.
They put an EBN brand on my right shoulder one night, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" They're like, "You're mine." I'm like, "Whoa, hey, whoa, yeah. whoa." Brown lives matter. Brown lives matter.
Like I always, you know, look at the behind the scenes stuff between the three of us, and I always wonder if there's as much crazy chaos going on in the background that goes on with us. I wonder how many other channels deal with all the stuff we fuss and fight about in the background, behind the scenes.
If you're really going to be friends means you don't have to worry about how they feel about what you say. You could say what you mean.
Yeah.
If they're your friend, you can say what you mean. And you know, and
Robert
that's
Meyer Burnett found out the hard way.
Yeah,
some
that's
of,
right.
Some of his friends weren't actually his friends the last couple of days.
Wow. Francine, let's hear from you. What made you start YouTube? What got you into Star Wars? Really curious about it.
Okay, so I actually started with Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve, and that was like my first gateway film into sci-fi and superheroes, and I absolutely love that. It's like one of my all-time favorite movies. And then I wanted to see more stuff like that, and then my dad introduced me to Star Trek first, and I really enjoyed the original Captain Kirk. That was the original series is my Star Trek. I absolutely love that. It's my favorite. And then I was at my friend's house one night, and he had the Star Wars, the trilogy, the OT. And I was like, I have never seen these because I've seen the Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, all them. And he's like, you've never seen them? I was like, no. He's like, let's watch them. So we stayed up all night and we watched all three. And I was like blown away at these movies, and I could not believe I had never seen these movies before in my life. And so like immediately I started to get a hold of everything I could on Star Wars. Everything, and I absolutely loved it. And then like in 2006 I actually started my YouTube channel because I'm a creative person. I like to draw, I like to write, I like to read and everything, and I was looking for a creative outlet, so I started on YouTube, and I just started making like music videos of Superman just for fun. And then I watched The Last Jedi, and I came out of the theater and I was like, what did I just see? And I started, I went to my YouTube and I started seeing Anna and then Jeremy. And then I found the Fandom Collective and I joined up with them. And I was like, they inspired me to put stuff on YouTube of myself. So I started making videos of stuff I like, that I wanted other people to see. And that's how I started my channel to where it's at now.
Awesome.
That's how it went for me. Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
I know
a lot of people.
Sorry, Fanzine.
Go ahead.
No, that's good. No, I was just gonna say I give credit to The Last Jedi for where I'm at now because I've met all you guys and found a great community. That's the only thing I give it credit for.
Yeah, I think that's the same with just about all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Rob?
So that'll be my next question. Since Lord Callous, since you guys are asking me, I was there. I was a kid, like my daughter's age, and my grandmother was like, "Hey, we're gonna go see the Star Wars. Let's go to the movies." I didn't know what it was or what anything. I was like, "All right, whatever," And we bought tickets, and it wasn't like Fandango times, okay? So the line was like around the corner, whatever. You have to wait 3 hours for the movie. I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I saw. And then we finally get into the theater, and up comes, boom, the scroll, and then the ship, and then the huge ship chasing, and the music hits, and I'm like, what am I seeing here? I'm like blown away. And then in comes everybody's battling the droids, 3PO and R2 are talking. And at first I don't know who they are, what they are. And I'm just sitting there like, what is this? What am I watching here? And all the rebels are fighting the stormtrooper. In comes Darth Vader with his dramatic entrance. And I was just like, oh my God, man, that was the moment right there. Hook, line, sinker. That was it for me. I was pulled in. That moment in the movie theater, I never forgot. My mouth dropped, and I was just, so many people were the crowd was really into it, man. I don't know if they knew what was coming or they didn't know, but they were so boisterous and like excited, and you could just feel it in the air. It was like such a great feeling for me as a child. And from there, it was just like, oh my God, and The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and on and on and on. And that was it. I was just hooked into it. What made me start the YouTube channel? I know most people, it was The Last Jedi. I get it, the hate for it. Other people have said that. For me, it was this. I actually wanted to meet people in the community. I wanted to hear about the sequel trilogy, the whole. I wanted that. I was excited, and I was, why don't I just get on YouTube and say how I and hear what others have to say. I want to meet these people, and that's like this is what I wanted. Like live streams, meeting people, whether it's gaming, whether it's in the chat, whether they channel, just to be a part of this, to me, is worth everything. It's just an incredible feeling I have. I can't explain it other than that, and I'm grateful to meet so many awesome. I mean, you have your bad apples, but I don't let those bad apples ruin it for the whole tree, And I'm just grateful that so many great people I've met on this. And that's my story. That's pretty much it. So my next question, and again, I'll go around like I did before. We'll start with Lord Callous. Again, I'm sure a lot of people like myself don't know your true feelings, and however you feel about anything is fine. More than welcome here. That's how I am. Let's start with the sequel trilogy. My question is, what are your feelings about it? Did you like it? Didn't you like it? What could have been better? Maybe would have thrown in there. I just want to get you guys' feelings. We'll start with that, and we'll start with Lord Callous.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's no secret. I enjoyed The Force Awakens. I was one that actually liked The Force Awakens, and I enjoyed the story and what I thought it was going to be, what this new trilogy was going to bring to us. I liked, I saw, or I thought I saw the vision. Okay. And it wasn't until The Last Jedi that was disrupted because for me, I thought, okay, they've sort of put a back seat. They put the EU to the back, right? Because they wanted their continuity. All right. So they've changed up Ben Solo. They've changed up Ben Skywalker. They've made him now Ben Solo. Okay. There's no Jason and Jaina, and there is no Ben. I said, okay, so my thought process is that this child, Rey, is going to be a Skywalker. My thought process watching this movie is that Finn is Force sensitive, because everything pointed to that to me in that first movie. So I'm thinking that all of this that came to a head at the end of The Force Awakens was going to be released in The Last Jedi, and so that was what ruined it for me. That one movie was what did it to what did it for me. The Rise of Skywalker it was just to me, because at that point now I appreciated that JJ wanted to try to go back and undo much of what was done in The Last Jedi, but the damage was done, and it was kind of hard to do, as well as he created plot holes himself by doing that. So and then the kiss and whatever. So the bottom line is that I still enjoy The Force Awakens, and I just wish that it came to be what it was intended to be. And so I don't hate Disney Star Wars. There's a lot of good within Star Wars right now. That's why I say I am where Star Wars lives, because there is still good, but I approach everything very cautiously. So I guess I'm cautiously optimistic with every new project that they bring. I very much enjoyed The Mandalorian. Okay, I enjoyed it. I know it has its plot holes as well, but that was a good attempt on Disney's part. Now the problem is that they took something that was fresh, that was brand new for them, and now they're going to bring into it characters from the EU, which kind of says, okay, well, you're not being able to stand on your own, because instead of moving forward with The Mandalorian, now we're dipping in and we're grabbing Ahsoka, we're dipping in, we're possibly grabbing Boba, we're dipping in, we're possibly grabbing Ezra Bridger, and so on and so forth. So I wish they would have just let that series stand on its own with its own characters, run through the seasons as it will, maybe make mention, because of course it's still living in that same galaxy, but there's no need to bring the big dogs in. Let's establish these new characters in this timeline that's running consecutive with what we know from the EU. I enjoy the Rebels. Pieces of Rebels. I enjoyed the Clone Wars this final season. Let me back that up. I enjoyed the last 3 episodes of the Clone Wars. I think that's all they needed. That's all they needed. I don't think they needed the other. How many was it? 12 episodes. How many episodes was it? 12 episodes, right?
I'm thinking like 10, maybe. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, I think it was 12 because it was 4. It was 3 arcs for each arc, right?
Yeah,
so
yep, that's right. 12.
Yeah, so that final arc was good. I didn't need the other 8. So that I think that they're like I said, I'm just cautiously optimistic as they release new projects. There are a lot of novelizations that that did well on their own. The Lords of the Sith did well. If you guys are into novelizations, I recommend that one. Dooku Jedi Lost was good. Master and Apprentice was good. So they have some. This Thrawn, the new Thrawn was decent. They've got some positive stories within their canon and some new on the horizon. So I'm again cautiously optimistic, but I don't hate by any means. I don't hate Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I just want to see them do right by it.
Yep. Well said.
Yep.
All right, Echo Base Network, Iron Man. The floor's yours, guys.
Well, I'll be a lot shorter. Actually, I think I agree with like 80% of everything Lord Callous just said. Actually, I mean, same perspective, everything, timeline. Second movie got me, but the difference is that last 20% is I'm pretty pissed off. I'm pretty pissed off and angry at the literal just complete disregard for paying customers. I don't even use the word fans anymore, and I'm trying to encourage people in the Phantom Menace to, I mean, we are fans, but we got to call ourselves what we are, which is paying customers who are also fans. That's the difference between us and these SJW knuckleheads that don't spend $1 on their weird ass stuff they come up with. I've never, being in private industry as an accountant and an auditor, all I do is deal with businesses. I've never seen an industry not give so much of a hair ass line trip about their customers as this entertainment industry, where they're just completely like neglect and block and do what they want and this and that, and I guess maybe it's because I mean, these movies had a hard impact on me when I was young in a lot of ways, and so when they tread, there's that Keats poem, tread softly because you tread on my dreams. Well, they tread on the memories of my dreams when I was a kid, and I'm actually completely and totally livid that see Kathleen Kennedy say she's too, with George, I'm going to honor the character's destiny and legacy and what you set up. Then there's another snippet where she's interviewed when no one else is around except she's at, women's rights convention. That's what is the best part of your job. The fact that our answer, the fact that I can walk up and change any character into a woman and make her a hero if I so choose. Then, to hear in, one of the rumor videos, one of the Doom Cockman Night's Edge videos that one of the people that works at Lucasfilms, or actually it was the guy the screenwriter that Jeremy interviewed as well, said this, that she truly feels that she is destined somehow, that this is her calling in life to change all this shit. And I just think it's weak. Maybe Lord Callous is a little bit more forgiving because he has a creative mind. But for those of us that aren't as creative, it's I don't know, the limit on my charge card for what they can do with my universe is a very tight line. And when they do this stuff, I think it's mean, it's disrespectful. If I had been an author of some of this stuff, I wouldn't like people trampling all over my shit, frankly. I mean, sure, they own it, but Disney has never ever established credibility in dealing with live action films let alone sequences where there's a first and a second or a third. They're complete and total rookies. Fuck if they're Disney. I mean, they've just never, ever, 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 ever. It's a total different. I'm sure Lord Callous can speak to this. It's a very different type of storytelling when you are setting up, when you're setting up a structure of storytelling that way. Cinderella is always Cinderella. There's not Cinderella Part 4, Revenge of the Toothpaste. You know what I mean? It's Cinderella. You know what I mean? So, she doesn't have like, episode 5 where she like teams up with, go to Die Hard off of, for Century City building. So I don't know. They bit off more than they can chew. They're huge in debt. They can't afford to pay this shit off. I'm pissed. I'm literally pissed and I'm angry because, there's so few of them. There's only about 30 people in power, and the amount of money that they put in their pocket so that they could go around and play, fuck a duck creative, and fuck all this shit up for literally millions of people who speak over 10 different languages around the world, just as they, because Kathleen Kennedy, $4 billion to George Lucas, not one dime out of her pocket. And she gets to go fuck with it all day and night, and gets her stock for free, and her salary for free. And there's about 30 of them, and they don't give a flying fuck if they ever have to interact with us at a coffee shop and talk about the wondrous things of the universe. And don't you know? We weren't given much from George. We had to kind of make this up as we went along. No, bitch, EU. Shit, I was never even into the EU because I'm a Star Trek guy. I was reading Star Trek shit back then. But you were. You were. I mean, come on, that's the ultimate. There wasn't anything. We had no comic books.
That did make me angry the day it was announced that that the EU was washed. That hurt because it was like, oh my goodness, all of this, all of these novels, all of these comics are now for nothing. Now they're all gone. So it was very hurtful, very angry.
So in my opinion, so what I've done with this is what I've chosen to do with it. Just because they own it doesn't mean that they get to make it canon. They don't get property rights. You know what? That's a lot like some of these fucked up bishops and popes that changed history in the Middle Ages, and we just had to roll with no. I know what the history was. I know what canon is. You say the Force is female. Fuck you. The canon is mine. I know your canon is not my canon. And I ain't gonna call it legends just because you want me to, or just so I can get a pass to go to one of your effing bullshit events. F you, bitch. Get off the stage. Go die in 5-6 years. My canon will endure.
PG rated version coming up next.
Sorry. Golly, how did you get? Man, I thought we were going to have a cool little live stream on a Friday afternoon. What happened just now? What just happened? What happened? Oh, God. All right. Where's that puppy? Where's Bambino? I'm going to go pet Bambino, the puppy. Oh, my God. Who did that? What happened?
So is it my turn?
Yeah, I'm going to shut up.
Right, here we go.
I'm going on timeout. I'm going to go in the corner.
Nick, you since my story is so intertwined with yours, you were welcome to just jump right in. You don't have to wait for me to finish. So I can remember in December of 1993.
Yep. December 93. Yep.
Nick, see, he already knows what I'm talking about. I remember the day Nick and I were in the 8th grade. And
yep, 8th grade.
Will you stop? So, anyways, Nick comes to school and shows me a magazine where Lucas had been interviewed, and it was the first time that he had publicly said he was working on a new Star Wars trilogy. And it's the first bit of news that I received that Star Wars was going to come back. Now, for my entire life, all we had was the original trilogy. And I actually literally just gave myself chill bumps thinking about how I felt then. And that is when I learned what the word prequel meant. I had no clue. Yeah. I thought prequel was sequel. And Nick actually explained to me, no, these movies are before the Star Wars that we know. And actually what he said was these movies are before Star Wars, because Star Wars for us is what newer fans call A New Hope. That's Star Wars. Yeah. When I say I love Star Wars, I'm either talking about the entire thing or I'm talking about that one particular film. Well, depending on context, you know what I mean by that. Well, anyways, fast forward a couple of years, and you're asking about the sequel trilogy. And I remember feeling through that time leading up to the prequels a little bit of disappointment that I wasn't going to get my heroes. There wasn't going to be Luke. There wasn't going to be Leia. There wasn't going to be Han. That was what Star Wars was for me. I already knew the story of Darth Vader. I mean, I already knew that. I didn't feel like I needed to see that. I was still excited to go see the prequel trilogy. So now you fast forward to the day the first trailer dropped for The Force Awakens. When we had already seen the teaser and everybody's baffled. There's mixed feelings. There's mixed feelings about Kylo Ren's saber hilt. There's mixed feelings about all this stuff. There's mixed feelings about J.J. Abrams. We know the original cast is involved, but we don't know to what extent. The hype was really high. And when I saw that first trailer, when it cut to Han coming on board the Falcon and he says, "Chewie, we're home." At that point, at that moment, The Force Awakens is a movie that cannot fail. There's just no way. There's just no way. This movie's going to be great. So when I went to the theater and watched that on opening night, Nick was there with me. We've got a group that would always go to every Star Wars premiere. There's like 10 of us. So as I watched that movie and I walked out, I was like, that's the fourth best Star Wars movie I've ever seen. I automatically put The Force Awakens up there, right behind the original trilogy for me. I really, really liked it. And here's what happened. And it's no longer there. And here's why. And I just saw the salute from Lord Callous, and I hate that, but this is how I feel now. If I take The Force Awakens and stop it right after the end of that movie, I still like it. But as you move forward in story, it destroys The Force Awakens. Destroys it. Because Fanzene's a Superman guy, right?
Right.
Luke is my Superman. Luke is my Superman.
I know where you're going.
And imagine the next Superman movie where Superman now wears pink, smokes menthols, and likes boys. You're not going to like that. It doesn't matter where you stand politically. That's not Superman. You be quiet, Mexican Army Man. So they just destroy your character, your hero. And to me, growing up, Luke was Star Wars. Luke was our hero. Yeah, we had Leia, we had Han, we had Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Luke was our hero. The majority of boys was growing up, I want to be like Luke. I want to be Luke. You know, and I know that's not the case for everybody because there's so many heroes to choose from. So anyways, when you left off with that cliffhanger on The Force Awakens, the way I felt about The Force Awakens, it's a movie that can't fail. It's going to be good no matter what because you got Han, you got Chewie, you got everybody back. Now you've got the return of Luke Skywalker. We got him in The Force Awakens, but we got him for less than a minute with no lines of dialogue. So if we're going to get our Luke Skywalker back, this is going to be the most amazing movie of all time. Oh my gosh, they are bringing back an OG character, one of my favorites of all time. He's going to be kicking butt. He's old in the Force now. This is going to be incredible. There's all these rumors out on YouTube that Luke's going to take on the Knights of Ren and single-handedly defeat them and save Rey. There's all this stuff going on, and I'm giving myself chill bumps again, and it didn't happen. We didn't get any of that. And I was in stunned disbelief as I left the theater. I couldn't even speak. I had friends in line waiting as me and Nick and all of our buddies are leaving the theater. They're in line waiting to go in, and they're looking at me in my eyes, and they're saying, "What did you think?" And I couldn't even answer them. I said, just go watch it. We went to the Waffle House, sat down, ate an omelet, drank a coffee, and talked about how bad that movie was. I could not believe it. And so at that point for me, because that movie was so bad, it really didn't matter what Episode 9 did. It was, at that point, I don't think it could be salvaged.
Yeah.
And that's where I am. Nick, lateral to
like,
you.
I mean, every single one of you guys have pretty much covered pretty much everything, and I feel the same way as Coach what Coach was just saying. But I'll just add this. When I liked The Force Awakens, and I was on board with the direction they are taking it. I was very, very upset that Han got killed off. And that was the one thing that I wish they hadn't have done. Other than that, I was fine with the movie. I was like, okay, all right. Luke wasn't in it. We didn't get everybody on screen together, but we got the next movie. The Last Jedi was the biggest disappointment of anything in my entire life. It was such a huge disappointment. I absolutely hated that movie, and I tried being in denial about it when I left the theater. I went and saw it again, trying to like it and trying to force myself to like it. Finally, I was like, man, no, this movie is straight garbage. I hate it. I hate everything about it. And then I saw Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and then and we are where we are now. You know, everybody knows the story. Everybody met everybody, and all became friends because of that heaping pile of turd crap. But yeah, I wanted to add that in there.
So I too also liked.
Fanzene, how do you feel?
Force Awakens. You know, I like The Force Awakens. I think I was more in like with the setup that The Force Awakens was giving us. Like, I wanted to know Finn. He was a rogue stormtrooper. I thought that was like really interesting, you know. And then Rey, yeah, she was a little overpowered, but I wanted to see maybe where they were going to bring it. And then like with Luke at the end, I was like, I'm with you. Like Superman, Captain Kirk, and Luke Skywalker. That's like my three biggest heroes, period. So like, regardless of whether the movie, however it turned out, how other people liked it, that scene with Luke, I was pumped. I walked out of the theater. I was telling people, "Oh, that movie was great. You're going to love it." Then when I got closer to The Last Jedi, and I started seeing all these reviews and how they were praising the movie like big time, and that kind of gave me a in my stomach, because when movies start getting praised like left and right from everybody, I kind of get worried because I feel like they're trying to hide something. You know, if there's no bad criticism, then there's something wrong. So I went into that movie a little optimistic, and when he got the lightsaber and he chucked it over his shoulder, I already knew. I was like, this is not going to be good.
You see, I came out of it. Not to cut you off, but at that point, I thought he was on some Yoda type shit at that point. I thought that he was
doesn't need a lightsaber.
Yeah. I thought he was just trying to show her that Jedis are not attached to these weapons or to anything. So he has his own. He didn't need her to bring this one to him. So I thought that was part of the training sequence. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I kind of chuckled at it. I chuckled at it. I was like, oh, he tossed it. But then as it went on, I was like, no, it didn't get it. And then just like the story, I can't even explain the movie, to be honest with you. I just cannot explain what they did. And so on to The Rise of Skywalker. I haven't finished The Rise of Skywalker. I've only seen 25 minutes of the movie. I couldn't even finish it. I just stopped it. I turned it off. I was like, I'm done. I can't watch it. But I mean, I still like Star Wars, and I like The Mandalorian. I like the Clone Wars. I never watched Rebels. I never got much into Rebels. I've started to learn a little bit more about the EU thanks to Lord Callous and Ryan Kennel. So I've been wanting to read a little more of those. If they make good Star Wars, I'm all for it. But I don't get excited as much as I used to when they announce a new Star Wars project. I'm kind of just like, I'll wait and see. I'll see what other people say, and then maybe I'll give it a try. But like The Last Jedi, just like everybody here, it just was just so deflating when I saw that. It just, man, I can't even get up the words I want to say. It just, that's how I feel.
Well, I'll tell you something that I don't think
I want to say something that just can't get to me.
Yeah, I don't think any of us mentioned, but the real lack of leadership and direction. Like me, Nick, and Mexican Iron Man, all three don't drive the car. Like it's like I've got the steering wheel, Nick's got the gas, and Mexican Iron Man's hitting the brakes. You can't do that. And that's pretty much what happened with the sequel trilogy. They didn't have a cohesive story in mind when they got started.
Not at all.
They built it in the air, and you can feel that as you watch it.
Yeah. And it's like, I think even Ryan Johnson came out later and said that he had to rush to write the movie himself. So,
he said on Twitter before Last Jedi even came out that there was nothing for him. It was wide open.
Yeah.
What's sad though is that if it's,
and I was already,
even in a rush, all you have to do is look at what came before you. I mean, you're not. Granted, we're trying to build, or they're trying to flesh out this with this sequel trilogy. They're trying to flesh out a new time period, a new story. But they have a foundation, and each of these characters that they had in the OGs had their characters fleshed out. The fundamentals were there, so you can't, in the middle of a saga, not even in the middle of a saga, at the end of a saga, you can't fundamentally change a character, the main character for that. You can't do that, and that's what happened with what we got with Luke, and that's why it was so disappointing for me. I mean, and then. Sort of like what Nick was saying, when I saw the death of Han Solo, it hurt, but it also was like, okay, they're taking a chance here because we've got Kylo Ren, who there's no redemption for in a movie. There should never be redemption for someone who kills their parents. I mean, that was murder. It wasn't like his father was trying to kill him and he killed him in self-defense. He killed his father. So there should not have been a redemption story for Kylo Ren. He should have been the ultimate bad guy.
Yep.
Period.
I agree.
And that was the only saving grace for me, for the fact that he killed Han Solo, was this guy has got to fucking bring it. With the evil I'm talking, he's got to be more evil than Darth Vader, because the one thing that Darth Vader was able to do was love. He loved his mother, he loved Padme, and he loved his children. Of course, later it was Leia, but he loved Luke, and that's where that redemption came from. So the fact that they turned Kylo Ren into who he was this doesn't connect. This does not resonate at all. This man killed his father. This man it was nothing but an evil monster to Rey. And now you try to paint him in this different light. It did not make sense at all.
And do you think, but when they were producing The Force Awakens, did you think that anybody at Disney thought, oh yeah, we're going to bring Palpatine back for episode 9 and he'll be the main antagonist?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't think that was the
They
plan
probably at that time thought what you're saying, which would have been a better trilogy.
Yeah. So we'd seen the redemption arc with Vader. So we already had that. So I'm with Lord Callous. I was hoping that Kylo Ren was just going to be the straight evil guy. I was hoping for no redemption. I wanted him to just be this force, unstoppable force that would just plow through them. And then they would destroy him at the end. No redemption, no him coming back, no him, but then like I said, I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker all the way through, but I know what happens. I've seen videos, I've seen the clip, the ending, the kiss and everything. And just that's why I can't bring myself to finish the movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys touched on this a little bit before. You were saying how Kathleen Kennedy was saying how she didn't have anything and how they would just trying to throw things in there. Yeah, I mean, first off, if you're a company, you just spent $4 billion on something that it's a gold mine. You know that you're sitting on an absolute gold mine. You have to say, we only have a blueprint. We do not have much. And when you look years ago, when George is sitting there, he's like, I left you guys a treasure trove of stuff. You've got books, you've got comic books. Hell, George even had 7, 8, and 9 ready to go. All they had to do was tweak it. But what they did was they took it and said, yeah, it's okay. Thanks a lot. We're going to go with our Star Wars. Also, to let alone, which nobody, I don't know if you guys know this, Kathleen Kennedy was the one responsible. Galaxy's supposed to be the Tatooine cantina, that we hope, and go from there. She scratched it and said, no. There's so much to tell. We're going to scrap that, and we're going to go with the cantina that no one's ever heard of on a planet that no one's ever heard of. And I'm like, okay, we didn't even get that in the movie. So I'm like, so I don't get none of it besides ego or I wish I could pinpoint what they're possibly thinking. Getting rid of the EU, which everybody is craving to see, or a Vader series or a solo movie, which everybody wants. Everybody's like, take my money, just put it out there. Why aren't they doing this, guys? Why aren't they giving the fans like the Snyder Cut, right? People did a Snyder Cut. Finally, they got it. They got the victory. The fans got what they want. Why aren't we getting what we want? What is going on here? Can anybody here answer me? I'd love
Rob,
an answer.
The thing, Rob, for me, Rob, that was just an ignorant comment on her part. I kind of understand what she was trying to say in that the fact that they scrapped the EU, they're creating all of these stories from, or the stories that they're going to be writing from scratch, right? But that doesn't, even if you take out the EU, you still have the previous 6 movies. So you absolutely have a foundation. You have a galaxy. You have a sandbox to play in. None of those other novelizations, or they weren't just birthed out of nowhere, right? They were written. Right? They said, okay, here's the story. They put the storyboards together. It was the same thing. So that comment was ignorant in that yes, there's always a starting point. Everybody always has a starting point. You had 6 movies, an entire universe to build on. And I didn't necessarily need them to dive back into the EU. I don't need that. I would like some fresh stories. What I want for them to do is to maintain the integrity of Star Wars. Recognize what those 6 movies meant, recognize what those 6 movies established, and build on it. It's a whole galaxy that they can, like I said, they can play in. A whole galaxy. They don't even have to touch Coruscant. You can make mention of it, but I mean, come on, man. It's a galaxy. It's a galaxy. But just when you do go back, or if you do go back and touch those OGs and touch those legends, if you will, characters, make sure that you write them in the same vein. Make sure you keep them intact as they were already established. These were not characters that they just made mention of in a comment here, or they just had their name in a book. They were fleshed out. These were established characters. And so that going like with, as we dive into the High Republic right now, I'm excited to see the High Republic because it's a new world. Mm-hmm. This is 400 years before the Phantom Menace. This is a new world. The only reference point that we will have is Yoda. That's it. He's the only character that we will have during this time period that will have some connection. As long as they don't dive into the EU, right? They've given us now. They've said that Tenebris exists. They say that Plagueis existed. They gave us Darth Bane, so Darth Xana. They've confirmed all of these, all of the ancient Sith. So don't touch that. Let that live. You've created the Niles for the High Republic, right? You've created these new Jedi for the High Republic. Let's build on this world. Let's make sure that we honor Yoda's legacy. And then what you got? Let's go. Let's see what you have. That's where I am with that.
That's that cautious optimism that you were talking about. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I've had the same cautious optimism ever since The Last Jedi.
I've had that same optimism every time I try to date a Puerto Rican girl.
You know, they say they have a plan. I mean, they say they have a story. Okay, so if you have something, what you've had DB Weiss and Ben off bail. You were supposed to have really nothing about that. You hire Funny.
You're super choppy.
We
Rob.
have no clue what's coming, and you would think that they would try. Huh?
We can't hear you. You're chopping up.
You're super choppy. We can't hardly make out what you're saying.
Oh, crap.
Put the internet in third gear. Upshift.
Let me
Did
ask
you guys
if
get
they were
the
to take
feeling?
George Lucas's
I'm sorry, go ahead.
outline?
Go ahead, Fanzene. What'd you say?
I was gonna say if they took George Lucas's outline, and made it into a set of novels, would you guys like that?
Yes, I'd read it.
I would.
You know,
Yeah,
listen to you
I
guys
would
talk,
like
and
that
I've always kind of
personally.
felt this way. I got the feeling that instead of continuing the story that like Lord Callous was talking about, because you already had Star Wars, an established Star Wars, you changed things, and I always got the impression when dealing with the sequel trilogy that they were in competition with the original trilogy. They were trying to make something that they thought was better than, not something to continue the story. And I think that's where they failed. That's my personal opinion.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Hey, it's 9. I got it. You see this one behind me?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got to dip out. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Rob, for having me. It's been a great convo. I wish anytime we talk Star Wars, I love to continue that convo.
Where do we send you a link? I want you to be in the writing contest, bro.
Send it to.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Hold on.
Wow. Well, thanks for being on, Lord Callous. If you can hear me, I hope you can.
I can. Yeah, we can. I can hear you.
Callous, we enjoyed hanging out with you tonight, man.
Thank you. I enjoyed you guys.
Yeah, I had to fix.
You just cut out, Rob.
Yeah, he didn't fix anything.
All right, guys.
See you, man.
All right, Lord Callous.
Hold on. It's a little slow. Gotcha. Take care, man. Yeah, I'm having a little internet issue. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sometimes they put in a brand new system and it's been a little iffy. So sorry, about that.
Oh, it's
So,
good.
I mean, I'm just frustrated because, listen, I know you. If you have thousands of stories, great. Bring it. We look forward to it as long as it's good writing, as long as it makes sense, as long as we have something that flows.
Yeah.
We didn't get that. We got JJ's got to set up. Hurry up. You write and you write. Okay, we're going to fire you. We don't like the way you're going. Maya, we don't like the way you're going with it. So we'll fire you. And okay, well, now we'll hire this person. If you're a company, man, it's your job to make sure you have it all planned, or don't put it out. Don't put it out until you're ready. No one rushed them. No one said, okay, put it out this second. This is entirely Lucasfilm's fault. They had no plan. I don't care what they tell me. And when JJ says, oh, no, I wasn't trying to retcon what Johnson did. Oh, he did a great job. Really? Because that's not what I saw. What I saw is Rose Tico took the back burner. Yeah. I mean, and Rose Tico took the back burner. Yeah. And it seemed like Johnson just got rid of everything you did. Said, I don't like Snook. I'm going to kill him. I'm okay. I'm going to throw this character in. Phasma's nothing, so we'll get rid of her again. There was so many characters wasted in this trilogy. Yeah, Snook, who was wasted. The Knights of Ren, Phasma, Finn. Yeah, it had potential. And then what you did to Luke was the most frustrating thing of everything to me. He gets 2 minutes of not saying anything. Then he's like a hermit crab, and I'm hiding. Get away from me. Okay, wait a minute. If you didn't want anybody to find you, why would you make a map to begin with? Why do you make a map? You don't want to be found. Don't make a damn map. It's a galaxy.
Yeah, he didn't train Rey. He didn't train her. She spent 3 days with him.
I don't even think he ever gave her the third lesson unless they do that in his Rise of Skywalker.
They were stuck trying to shock us, and they did. They accomplished that. They shocked us, but it wasn't a good shock.
No.
And what's funny is like the people who aren't like really.
For you guys,
go ahead. Sorry.
How about the throne room scene? I've seen people say that that's the best lightsaber I've ever seen. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Nothing beats Revenge of the Sith. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that throne room scene? What is your thoughts on that whole? I think it's a catastrophe, but I'll let you guys because I'm getting frustrated. So I'll let you guys. I need to cool off.
It sucked.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. The first time I saw the throne room scene in The Last Jedi, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Kylo's coming to the good side, and it's gonna be Rey and Kylo and Luke and everybody teaming up in the next movie. That's the thoughts that were going through my head. And then it just all got wiped away, and I was like, "Oh God, this is just getting worse and worse." And then of course, the Rise of Skywalker throne room. Everything about that was just terrible. I didn't like anything about. I will literally never watch any of those movies ever again in my entire life. Like if somebody I know has not ever seen Star Wars, I will watch the original trilogy, the prequels, Rogue One, and then I'll be like, here is Solo. You watch that. I'm gonna go play on the computer or do something else. Here's the sequel trilogy. I'm gonna go mow the grass and do something else. Because I'm not watching them, but I'll let you watch them. But yeah, the throne room scenes, I really liked what I was seeing at the time of The Last Jedi. Looking back on it now, it wasn't good. It wasn't choreographed good. But yeah, those were my feelings then. This is how I feel now.
I didn't see any of you talk about Solo. What are your thoughts on Solo? Did any of you see it? Did you like it? What were your thoughts on that? I'm just curious because I know it was the worst in the box office, but I liked it personally. There was things I would have changed, but overall, I enjoyed it. But I don't know. What did you guys think? What is your opinion and your feelings?
I saw it in the movie theater with 3 other people in there, and there was such negative aftershock after The Last Jedi that I didn't really care. I wasn't too keen on a Han Solo movie anyways, to be honest. I just like, why are we doing that now? So I watched it that one time, and honestly, I don't even really remember very much about it. I've not watched it since. I don't own it. I'll probably never watch it again. And the best Star Wars that we've had since 1984 is Rogue One.
Yes. I would say Solo as a sci-fi movie is an all right sci-fi movie. Solo as a Star Wars movie is not a good movie. It just, and when I have no clan. Okay,
well
so
said.
You're Solo. So that's your name. That right there, that's the whole movie. And honestly, if you want to watch a Han Solo movie, If you've never seen it, watch Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Land. That is the Han Solo movie, and it is a great movie. It's an old '80s movie. It was definitely trying to capitalize off of Star Wars and Mad Max, but Peter Strauss, he does a great Han Solo. So just watch that instead. Save you a lot of time and frustration.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, next. I'm going to ask this. I'll ask Mexican Iron Man. Okay, since I get the feeling of the panel here, I'm getting a good feeling of what you guys like, don't like. And then you can go all around. If right now you were in charge to turn the ship around, what would you do? What would you put out there? What would you try to give fans?
Ooh.
Really curious.
If I were in charge, I'd do a mea culpa. I'd reach out to the Phantom Menace and pick probably 3 to 6 people to get some in a focus group. And I'd go into the Lucasfilm group. I say, hey, it's the dawning of a new day. I know you guys are used to a lot of the crap that's been going on. He says it's the dawning of a new day. Get them mixed up with some of the creative people inside Disney, not on the LucasArts side, but the other side. And then I tell them to put together some possible directions. I tell about half of them to go through the stuff that George did, half of them to come up with some stuff new. I immediately I reverse the decisions about the EU Legends versus canon, and just say we made a mistake, and have someone wake up or do hyperspace or do whatever the fuck, I don't know. And the last three movies were a bad dream, or somewhere in there reset it. But you have so much before any more damage. You really got to look at this as a big, just take a stick back. We got hoodwinked pretty bad because basically these moron directors just redid movies and killed people that didn't need to be killed off. Right? The Force Awakens was the same as. I actually did this at home. I had 2 DVRs and I ran both of these movies kind of side by side, all 6 of them. And there's just so much shit that's borrowed from each one. It's funny, but we get wrapped up in the special effects and the theater and the popcorn. You'll really catch it, but basically, there's almost no creativity in the whole damn thing, and a lot of the scenes are regurgitated. But we get lost in that in the story of it because we're so hopeful of where it might go, and so that's why I would do it. And I'd take a deep dive into the EU. I just read Thrawn for the first time just like a couple months ago, and had a blast. And I think if you look at the Marvel Universe, what did we enjoy about it? I think almost everybody enjoyed sitting back and watching the Marvel Universe make an effort to recreate what was in our minds about these characters. And we had fun sitting back and judging them like a baseball game. Like you're judging your baseball game, your home team. Sometimes you root, you don't root, but that's what it is we all have vivid memories of what this shit is about. As a director, you're telling me you're going to go and change a bunch of shit and still try to create some, winners, realize that, they made $1 billion, but shit, they could have made $2 billion. They literally could have made $2 billion on each time if they did it right. Because most of us would have seen it multiple times. So I would just reverse the ship, say, I'm sorry, apologize to my fans who are my paying customers, involve them in the process. Even for detergent, even for fucking detergent, before they change the formula, they'll have focus groups of people that are actual customers, and they'll tell them what they like and don't like about stuff. It just blows me away that they don't have any, but that's what I would do. And I would have humility, and it would be the dawning of a new day. And I will guarantee you this: when that opening comes, there's going to be the board blockbuster is going to mean something again, because people will line up and sleep over on that sidewalk. Because you know what? After seeing some humility, after seeing the Snyder Cut thing, after seeing Disney, if I were the CEO, turn shit around, there's going to be so much goodwill. We'll forget about all this hatred, and we're going to finally have something to look forward to. And you know what? If they don't get it completely right, it's okay, because we know they really tried. Not tried to blow everything up, but really tried to give us what we deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
Anybody else want to talk about Fanzene?
I wouldn't even begin to know where to fix it, honestly.
Yeah, the only way you can
because we
fix
all
those...
talk about Nick?
I was just gonna say the only way you can fix those movies is deleting them all from history.
Well, what would you do? Like Ben P says, what are you guys hoping will be the next trilogy? So that's kind of along the lines I was looking for. Like, where would you go? What would you do? Because everybody complains like, oh, this is horrible. So what are we looking for? If they said, okay, right now, what do you guys want? We'll give it to you. Tell us what you want. That's what I'm trying to figure. So what would Echo Base want? What would Fanzines want? What would Iron Man want? Well, what would you guys say? Okay, this is what I want, and I'll be there. You could take my money. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We're suffering from the residual effects of confusion because they called this the end of the Skywalker saga. And episode 7, 8, and 9 had nothing to do with Skywalkers. So if you're so Star Wars trilogies at this point do not need to be anything about Skywalkers. It needs to be a new story. It needs to be Dark Force versus Light Force. And that's it. New characters, move on. You can't fix this. It was destroyed and ruined. If I were in charge, I would release the original unaltered cuts of the original trilogy. And I would do something to appease Luke Skywalker fans, whether it be a mini series with Mark Hamill, an animated short film, whatever. I would do something to try to make fans of old feel better about Luke Skywalker. And then I would get writers on board that know everything that we create, we are paying homage to the original trilogy. It's got to be in that vein. Much like The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian has a Star Wars feel. The sequel trilogy did not. And from a certain point of view, the prequel trilogy did not. The prequel trilogy didn't really feel like Star Wars because it didn't look like it. It looked like Tron or something, like all the CGI. You know what I mean? If the prequel trilogy had more realistic effects and not relied so much on CGI, then I think it would have been better.
Yeah, and me and Coach actually had this. I think we had this conversation. I'm pretty sure we did. It might have been the last Saturday's live stream of ours, but I would have loved to seen them use actual real models, high-end detailed models, and film those just like they did in the original trilogy, and not done anything CGI except for like maybe backgrounds, but everything in the shots be actual high detailed models, and film that way. Because what they did to this day, what they did in Jedi, that space battle at the end, beats anything out there I've ever seen, hands down. That is still the best looking.
Well, even the battle at Hoth. It's better than any battle today.
Yeah, I mean, it looks real. Like, it looks like it's actually there. When you have all the CGI stuff, like the big battle at the very beginning of Revenge of the Sith, I mean, the cinematography on that looked good and everything, but it's just not the same having between models, actual physical models, and the CGI stuff. I really wish they would have done that. And in this sequel trilogy, we didn't get any space battles except for that crap that Ron Johnson gave us at the beginning of The Last Jedi. Now I don't even count that. Freaking gravity in space.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know what you're talking about. I wiped that from my memory.
Yeah.
They literally stole from Battlestar Galactica in that movie. If you ever seen the Battlestar
So what'd you think, Fanzene? What would you do, man?
I honestly, I don't know.
What would you do?
I would say you'd have to set it like years and years past what they just did, and leave the Skywalkers and all that alone, and actually have Jedi and Sith and create original characters, and like they said, make it feel more like the original trilogy, and definitely use models and stuff, because that's you can tell how much creativity goes into that and how well it can be done. It's amazing. So that's what I would do, but I still wouldn't hold my breath, to be honest. That's probably what I
now
would
we got
do.
the Mandalorian 2, and they're bringing back. Well, the rumors say that Rosario Dawson is going to play a live action Ahsoka Tano, and we're supposed to get maybe possibly Rex, Boba Fett. I'm hearing Bosk. I'm hearing all these people that they're trying to seem to put into it. Do you guys feel that this is overkill, or do you feel that they're really trying to get the fans back into the universe again? What do you guys think about all this? Iron Man?
Overkill. They got one. They have one shiny car, and they're trying to put all the cheerleaders and football team members in it. Too much, too much, too much, too much. I mean, why not just let the Mandalorian like grow like a flower on its own? We're doing one good thing. Let's just throw other people at it. Ridiculous, ridiculous. It just further shows a lack of creativity, and now it's starting to show lack of confidence.
Yeah. And it's total fan service, obviously. I mean, all that stuff is total fan service.
Without integrity.
Yeah.
It's fake fan service. Fake
now
fan service.
could it still be good? Yeah, of course it could. But it just depends on what they do. Again, like I said earlier, I'm not excited for anything Disney Star Wars until I actually see it. I'm not staying away from spoilers for anything. I don't care. I'll watch it, and if it's good, I'll come out and I'm sure me and Coach will do a video on it, and I'll be like, I liked it. I like what they're doing. This is good. But until I actually see it, I'm not going to be excited for it. So
I agree. I think it's fan service. It's lazy. If, in fact, let's see, The Mandalorian should be about The Mandalorian. That should be what the show is about. And if they're bringing in all of these different characters, and these characters are going to be around for the entire season, then that just tells you they have no story to tell. And they don't know what they're doing. Because it's not The Mandalorian. It's The Mandalorian All-Star Show then. However,
no, it's a Star Wars All-Star Show.
If Ahsoka and Rex were to be in 2 episodes and to play a part in a 2-episode little story arc, I think that would be awesome. I really do. But let them play their role and then get them out. And it would be awesome to see. But if they're bringing in Rosario Dawson to be Ahsoka Tano full time, this is terrible. You just ruined something that could have been really, really good. It's not that I have anything bad against Rosario Dawson, and I love Ahsoka Tano. I think she's the best character from the Clone Wars saga. But this show is The Mandalorian, and they've got a potential great show, and they need to work on that and make that story good in and of itself. You don't need anybody else to make that show good. If they bring in a Luke Skywalker, and if it's Mark Hamill and they CGI him and make him look younger like they did in that one scene in I don't even remember which one of the sequel movies it was now, but where they made him look younger, like when he was fighting with Leia in the Rise of Skywalker. Then if they made him look like that and he was in 1 or 2 episodes, I'm good with that. That'd be great. But we don't want him in every episode, and I'm a Luke fan. Boba Fett needs to be dead. It's not that I don't like Boba Fett, but why are you bringing him back? Let him be dead. We don't need him in The Mandalorian, So that's how I feel.
Agree. I think it's overkill. I think it's too much too soon. I really wanted to learn and grow with these new characters they got. Mando, Cara Dune, I can't remember Carl Weathers' name, but him, and where they were going to end up taking Baby Yoda, because we've never seen Yoda's home planet. And
right.
They set that up at like you have to take him to his home planet or to the Jedi or whatever. So like I was really excited that, and then you start hearing Boba Fett's coming, Ahsoka Tano's coming, Sabine's coming. Timothy Oliphant is going to play a character that might have been in the EU at one time, who was like a sheriff of Tatooine. It's like, I think you're just trying to use all this to set up a spinoff series, and it's going to lose. The story's going to derail, and you're going to focus on these characters and not these characters.
Yeah.
And like you said, if it was like one, maybe 2 episodes, and they weren't like at the forefront the whole episode, yeah, it could be good. But you know what they're going to do, and it's just I'm afraid they're going to destroy a show that a lot of us started to like.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Shit, you're right. They could do that. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Oh, I need tequila. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to go fix a mixed drink after this.
So I mean, I got my guy Isaac. He's saying a lot of things. He said, I can't put it up here because it seems to stall out. So it says, I'm excited for Boba Fett being in The Mandalorian, but I think that they might overdo it. They could have saved some for further seasons, but if they serve the story well, then I don't mind it. All right. I mean, I think like you guys were saying, like, I know they're going to film. They've already done with 2. They're now into 3.
Mhm.
The rumor is that the reason they're doing this is to set up a Rebels sequel. Now, Maya, we know that basically the Rebels, Dave Filoni already said there's no 5th season with the Rebels. But I think they've been like putting out like, oh, we're looking for a 30 to 40-year-old. So I'm like, well, wait a minute here. Rumors been that they're talking about getting a live action Ezra, a live action Thrawn. That they're going to use this with Ahsoka Tano live action to make another spin-off. It's possible.
Yeah. And they could end all those character. They could end all those character arcs in all this, and that's why we never saw them in any of the sequel trilogies movies, or they were never mentioned. So, yeah, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni behind it, it gives me a little small, tiny bit of possibility of it could be good, but I'm still just gonna reserve.
I think to do these little movies where they focus on characters or shows or whatever, they don't understand the property. Star Wars works because it's a big universe. There's good, there's evil, there's big sides. Once you start pulling people out, like for example, like the solo movie versus the group, you want to see what happens to all of them at the same time. It's a story about civilization and good versus evil, and over decades of time, these stories span time and space, and and there's wait, what happened in the 10, 20 years? I mean, there's just so many things that they don't understand, that it's bigger than that. And when they go smaller, that's where they screw shit up. Seriously, that's where they're going to screw shit up, because none of these characters was really developed in a way where we're like, I wonder what, or why is he like that? Like, why is Batman psychotic? Well, that's different. That's a different thing. These aren't comic book characters. This is why he always referred to it as like an opera, because it is. If you know about that type of entertainment and you've gone operas, this is a space opera. It truly is. There's there's a good side, there's bad sides, there's all these big, huge storylines happening. And there's, new races and beings and worlds are introduced every time. New weaponry. Remember, George, every movie he wanted to introduce new weaponry. That's why in the first prequel he introduced the double-sided lightsaber. I collect lightsabers, by the way. I'm all into lightsabers. So, they don't understand this. All these conversations, they don't like, hey, we're going to go get this person. They're going to play this character that you love. Well, no, we love that character because she was part of a whole storyline in the EU where all these things happened, and this is the role she played within that entire campaign. They don't understand. They don't get it. They truly don't get it. They're just going to feel like cheap, shitty ass CW little productions. That's what they're going to do when they start focusing on these different characters, because none of us were ever that now we were interested in like what Boba Fett may have did or this or that before, that, but we're not that much vested into these. I don't believe we are. What we're vested in is vested in, it's like when you started the show, what did you talk about? When you were sitting there in the theater and the big letters and the big music just kind of overtook every sense of your body. That's what Star Wars does. It does it in books, it does it in comic books, and sure as hell used to do it on the main screen before Disney got their fucking paws on it. And that's what they need to understand. This is an epic soap opera and unless they tell, or opera, unless they learn how to tell stories on a grand level, like Hollywood did in the 50s and the 40s and Spartacus and all that, they have no idea what they're doing, none at all.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. I think from the beginning, when they keep saying, we have a plan, I feel like, no, you don't have a plan. If you had a plan, you'd be saying, hey, this is our next trilogy. This is what we're going to put out there. It seems like ever since Solo bombed and all the heat from The Last Jedi, they are so nervous right now at this point. They're like walking on pins and needles, like, oh, man, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? But then how can you come out and say there's so much Star Wars if you don't know what you're doing? That's what infuriates me. If you don't know what you're doing and you think this is a flop, then sell it to somebody who can do something good with it. Give it to somebody who cares about the product. Because the fans obviously want to go. You made $4 billion on movies that weren't even that great. So what does that tell you? You're sitting on a gold mine. You just don't know how to use it.
Isn't it amazing that they messed it up? Like, how could you mess that up?
Yeah.
You got a 50-point lead, 50-run lead in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah.
You blew the game.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. They literally had gold in their hand. All the original cast back for the sequels and all that. And yeah, it was a disaster.
It's crazy.
I see you wearing the Yankees hat. It's like, I'm the new president of the Yankees. I'm the new owner. We're getting rid of everything Babe Ruth. None of those championships ever happened. I'm changing the jerseys. No more pinstripes. No more Frank Sinatra. We're moving. We're building a new stadium. Everything's different. Boy, you guys wouldn't be supporting that.
No, I got a better one for you. No. I took over the Yankees and I'm going to rename it the Magenta Sox.
Magenta.
I think you guys hit it on the nail. It's when the line in The Last Jedi, when Kylo Ren says the rebels, all of it, the Empire, kill the past, let it go. You got to let it go. You got to let it go. And I'm like, no, that's the one part I agree with Ray when he's like, you're not letting go. Like, why should we let go? Why should we let go of the past? Because it wasn't for the past, you wouldn't be here where you are today. You wouldn't have bought this company. You wouldn't have spent $4 billion on it. It's a gold mine. It's Star Wars. It'll sell. I mean, the merchandise was selling off the shelves. George made like at that time. We're talking at that time. He made more money on merchandise than he did with the movie itself.
Yeah.
I mean, so I know. I mean, they looked at figures. They're like, "Oh wow, this is
the only money they made was off of the Rose Tico action figure. That's only because EVS bought them all, I think."
Yeah.
But what kind of feeling do we have? We look back. Think about this. You look at the ninth movie. All the characters we loved are dead, and most of them died pretty shitty deaths. None of them died the heroic death. I mean, even Luke, he hologrammed himself out there. He
Yeah.
I mean. Really? He dialed in Matrix style? Come on. You know what I mean? Everyone who cared about died. And the one chick that picks up the Skywalker name is really a bad guy. She's really a Palpatine. So in the end, evil wins. Evil trumps the good. All the good people are dead. Everything, the movies that we watched for cheer these motherfuckers on for 20, 30 years was a waste of time. They're all dead. None of them have any children. None of them have any heirs. And the thing that's worst part about it is the one who decides she's going to become a Skywalker is the one chick in the whole movie that wears the same outfit and never does laundry. I mean, for all the skills that Ray has, why the hell didn't she have like another outfit?
Yeah.
and like, it's just so lazy, man. And to have
lazy
to have Ray go to Tatooine to bury Luke and Leia's lightsabers. It's like, why? What does she know about Tatooine? Like, are you serious? Like, if they really wanted to pay homage, if she wanted to pay homage to the Skywalkers, she should use her unstoppable, limitless force powers, recreate Alderaan, go back to Alderaan, where Leia was brought up with the Resistance, with the Republic, and she should bury the lightsabers there. That's what she should have done. What are you doing at Tatooine?
No, she should throw the lightsabers off of her other shoulder that Luke didn't, the left shoulder.
Yeah.
And then she completes the circle of no hope. She throws them over the left shoulder, not the right shoulder, and they land in the dust.
What's your name?
Or she sells them at the fucking flea market and gets another outfit. I mean, what is Leia? No wonder no wonder no one likes her. What does she smell like at this point? 3 movies, the same outfit? Come on.
At least Luke's outfit changed.
I mean, let me sleep with a Wookiee at night. I mean, shit. Jesus.
At least Luke, like, we got to see Luke lose, learn some lessons,
get different outfits,
have
to use different lightsaber colors,
rise up, overcome adversity. You know, and Rey, she's Mike Tyson in his prime on day 1.
Exactly.
I mean, she's knocking people out day 1.
Luke lost his good hand, had to get some shit reinstalled at the AAA repair center with the new hand, and he went back and he fought Darth Vader again. What has Leia lost? Not even an earring.
The Force is not female. The Force is Rey.
Yes.
The Force is Rey.
She's all the Jedi.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You need to go watch the movie because I don't know if you know what you just said.
I know that part.
Okay. That made me vomit in my mouth.
Why? What did he say? I didn't hear him.
She's all the Jedi.
Oh,
that's something that I don't ever even want to think about again.
I know.
You know,
that's
like what happened to Obi-Wan saying, "I cannot interfere. I can't be there."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Rey's fighting, and everybody can be there because it's Rey. And you know, that's so dumb to me. That is so dumb to me. Like all of that. Oh my gosh.
She had to do a vampire dirty, making out with arch nemesis, and then tossing his ass off the cliff. That was some pretty fucked up. You know, you see that movie in the '80s, Life Force? That's some fucked up vampire alien shit that Rey did. That's some messed up shit. I'm Mexican, and we don't do that. We at least, you know, put them in the trunk or something. You know.
You know, if she would have just lost one time, it would have helped her character somewhat. I think if she would have just lost one time.
Yeah. If the lightsaber in The Force Awakens, when it was flying through the air after John Boyega got whooped, which he should have gotten whooped, there's no way Finn should have been able to fight Kylo Ren. But if Finn can't fight Kylo Ren, neither should Rey. We got a man who is a professional that grew up a professional stormtrooper. He can't fight Kylo Ren, but Rey, the scavenger from the desert, can. Who's never been trained a day in her life. Okay, and when that lightsaber was flying through the air, I remember thinking,
"What
is it? Is it Luke? Is Luke here? Oh my gosh!" Yeah. And then it was her, and I'm like, "What?" And then that's when you realize who the main person's going to be, like at the end of the movie. Like, oh, it was so bad. What a disaster.
Yep.
I was hoping he was going to become like all Force into. I mean, the storyline of a stormtrooper turned
if
into
you
a great
have not
Jedi,
watched,
I thought that could have been great.
Mexican Iron Man, this is a great time to plug our documentary. I'm going to let you do that.
Well, what am I plugging
you guys
up?
could plug because I got to get going. So feel free to plug your stuff and your channels, and because it's about that time for me, I have to get going. So feel free. And by the way, I want to thank everybody in the chat. I especially want to thank you guys. I definitely hope you come on again because I had a blast with you guys. You guys were fantastic.
We'd love to. Absolutely. And I enjoyed hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, it's fun.
Mexican, go ahead and plug whatever you want.
Okay, well, we have our documentary is up. It's got well into the 100,000s of views. And it's an excellent opportunity to see how the sequel trilogy was received across the planet by all of your favorite YouTubers. It's a fantastic hour long. Well, it's actually longer than that, but it's a fantastic watch. You truly will enjoy yourself watching it. And we got another one coming out soon, but it'll be a few months before we get the next one out.
Yep. Cool. Plug away, Nick.
As you guys know, we are Echo Base Network. Me, Coach, Mexican Iron Man. We have our main channel, Echo Base Network, but on
he's muted.
On Saturday nights at 7:00 Central, we do a live stream every Saturday night on our Echo Base Network live channel. So we actually have 2 channels: our main channel, which is our Echo Base Network channel, and then a live channel where we do our live streams. So yeah, I hope you guys come check us out. Join us on Saturday nights if you want to hang out with us and our guests, and just be on the lookout for videos released on our main channel.
Yep, we truly have a community at Echo Base Network. It's never about us; it's about the community, and we have really became good, close friends with many of our subscribers.
Yep.
And we just love engaging with the community in that way and letting them tell their story on our channel, which we absolutely love doing that and getting feedback. And we don't look at ourselves as better than or the leaders of anything. It's the way we end every show or every video is you are Echo Base Network, because the people who are with us all the time, they help us greatly. So go visit our website, echobasenetwork.com, for information and videos and our Why We Love Star Wars channel, and just everything. So we'd be honored for y'all's presence.
Yeah. Also, speaking of, we actually got an email during this, Coach. I don't know if you saw it. Somebody that was wanting to tell their Star Wars story on one of our Saturday night streams.
Awesome. Love it. Love it.
You can come on over to my channel, Fanzene Vids, for movie reviews, movie news. I'm a huge, like I said, 80s movie guy. I love like cheesy old 80s flicks. I do a lot of stuff on that. I do occasional skits here and there. I do a thing called dating videos where I get a bunch of people from the fandom and we act like we're doing like an old video dating service and why you should pick us. I'm working on a new one for that. That's going to be coming soon. And, I work with the Fandom Collective. So if you got like a YouTube and you want to get out there, hit up the Fandom Collective on Twitter. We're there for you. Rookie Critic, Flipped Out, me, Fallon, Place to Be Reviews. We're all out there. We'll help you guys. So just hit up the Fandom Collective and come check out my channels for some good cheesy entertainment.
Yeah, you guys actually promote a lot of our videos over there at Fandom Collective, and we've actually the Rookie Critics were actually one of the first people I ever did a live stream with, and we had him on as a guest for our documentary premiere live stream after the premiere. Yeah, love the Rookie Critic.
Rookie. He was one of my first streams too. I've gotten to know him.
So anyway, I just want to thank
lately.
So I just want to thank everybody who came here today in the chat. Thanks so much. Thanks for Rose Rants. Thanks for Rose Rants giving me the $2 super chat and Fatal J. Just want to say thank you guys. I will make sure that when this usually takes about 12 hours to show up on my channel, I will put the links to everybody who was here today in the description, so you can just click that link and check every channel out who's been here, whether they're in the chat or on the panel.
Awesome.
So with that being said, I thank everybody, you guys especially, for being here in the panel and especially in the chat. Love you, everybody. And as always, be safe, be well, and I'll catch you next time. Hopefully these guys will come back again. So love to have them.
Definitely.
Love to.
Yep.
Enjoyed it, guys. Thank y'all very much.
Be well, everybody. All right, hold on, let me just end it. It's a little slow. Before you guys go, I got to make